NBA All-Star Game this Sunday.
Here's Curry behind the back, half-court heave on its way, and he hits it!
Coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Pablo Torre wrote an interesting piece for ESPN, the magazine, LeBron the Sequel. LeBron James's first act, becoming one of the greatest basketball players in history, is all but settled as a success. His second act, to become a global entertainment icon, is just beginning. We'll talk to Pablo about that in 1 hour. Stugotz is looking through the paperwork here that reveals that article. It's 18 pages long. He has no time for this. He was holding it in a way that suggested it was very heavy, that the paper itself that it's printed on is very heavy. And so he doesn't really want to read it. He'll just talk to Pablo about it, not listen very much, not understand some of the fancy words, and probably just threw the article in the trash.
I'll take your lead, man.
Okay. So we will talk to Pablo about that in 1 hour because I thought it was an interesting article. You know how fascinated I am in general by the idea that this guy is empowering his friends, that there's a power structure in basketball of Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, older white people, and that LeBron James is wrestling away some of that power for younger black people, and it becomes uncomfortable in a way that we all see. And LeBron James is very much finding his adult voice. And he's baring his teeth more than we've ever seen. And one of the things that he did, you saw where he did this casually. These are not things that he used to do. It's really interesting to watch. Never mind fighting in public with Phil Jackson or ripping Charles Barkley. But you see where Kevin Love went out and he just said, if I'm in the lineup, we have a chance.
Yep.
He never used to do things like that.
He didn't. And he's right.
Of course he's right.
Yep.
But he used to disguise it, I guess, for our comfort. I guess the same way Michael Jordan disguised all of that his entire career because we don't like arrogance so much. It's one of the great crimes in sports.
Do you think it's our comfort, though? Or do you think he's just at a place where, if he says it before he wins any of the championships, there's going to be blowback that maybe he doesn't want to deal with? Now you can't. There's really no holes to poke in LeBron's game anymore. He's won 2 titles in Miami. He's won 1 in Cleveland. He has 3 championships. He makes the finals every year. You can't really question his greatness anymore.
Well, what I would say is it's a combination of things. It's a combination of his comfort because of the things that you said and his comfort lending itself to not giving one solitary bleep about our discomfort.
Right.
And that's just simply something. I always used to like that. I used to like when Kobe Bryant and Andrew Bynum were going back and forth that Kobe Bryant would say publicly, everyone on this team and everyone on this planet knows Big Dog eats first, meaning himself, not Bynum. And that's something that Kobe grew into with success, with age. That's not who Kobe was. See, what Kobe was early in his career was just trying to mimic the path that Michael Jordan blazed. And so he looked like it was, what was that movie? Single White Female? It was Married Black Male. He was, or Adulterous Black Male. He was adulterous. We've talked about that before. Kobe Bryant put a mid-level exception on his wife's fingers for forgiveness. But Kobe Bryant was trying to mimic all things Michael Jordan in public and then stopped caring. And then it was curse words and it was things like that. And it came after the championships, after the success, after he was secure with what his legacy was. But this article is interesting because LeBron James just getting started on what it is he actually wants to become. Because he told us a long time ago he wanted to be the first billionaire athlete.
Yep.
Told us that a long time ago, and now he's going into Hollywood producing that show on Starz, Survivor's Remorse. He's an executive producer. He's starring in films. He's got that Plinko ripoff game that's a game show that he's producing, that all he's doing is that he's doing those terrible Sprite commercials. They're bad Sprite commercials.
They are pretty bad.
Woo!
The game's bad, too, man.
Put it up on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. LeBron Sprite commercial. Awful or worse than that?
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Upside. Now say big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You'll love Upside.com. That's Upside.com.
Do you guys find this interesting or no? LeBron James, businessman.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I do.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning for this, man.
No, it's not just that. He left us, so like I kind of don't like him.
Well, but you don't find him interesting? Can you not like somebody?
I used to find him really interesting.
Hold on a second. Can you not dislike someone and still find them interesting?
I mean, look what's going on in America right now. I mean, you can say a lot of things, but that dude's interesting right now at the top office.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Anderson Cooper answered that question earlier this week when I asked him, fill in the blank, Donald Trump, blank, interesting. That's what he went with. There is no disputing it's interesting, and there's no disputing that many people dislike him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be that, of course. As Mike just said with the current president, and I don't like LeBron James at all, but I'm interested in whether or not he can become a Hollywood mogul, of course.
Yeah, there's something to be said for it. I guess I'm like most sports fans. I liked it when I was heaping that praise upon him, and he wasn't doing it upon himself. And when he comes out and says, like, I'm the commander, we got a chance every night, like I start liking him less. I don't like how that makes me feel, but I do.
Oh, yeah, because he's rubbing it in your face now. But that's what I'm talking about. When that's on your side, you love it. When it's not on your side, you dislike it. But he doesn't care anymore. He used to care. But he's won in every way. LeBron James has won in every way. It's not just the winning on the court. It's that he went from famous to infamous to more famous. He went from liked to disliked to more liked. He went from not respected to more respected.
But I guess what I'm saying is, you're right. All the things you just said are absolutely correct. But he could have said that at any point in his career. As long as I'm on the court, we have a chance.
Oh, but he would have never said it before now.
Right now, but now he's comfortable saying it.
Well,
he doesn't care what you think, and he's validated.
Because everything after this is gravy. Everything. He's accomplished. He has arrived. Now, he'll keep trying, and he'll try to win more, but he has arrived at the destination for success. 3 championships, 1 for Cleveland. That's a finish line.
Yes.
And so now the other career begins where he could parlay all of this into real power that empowers his people. And I'm not talking about just his guys or the people that Phil Jackson dismisses as posse. I'm talking about black people, his people. He is going to have the power now. That Survivor's Remorse is a black show. That is a show. I don't even know. Do they have any white actors on that show? Are the white actors just the agents? Like, now he's in a place where he can move. He can do, with the basketball power, things in business that are legitimately powerful. The same way Eddie Murphy, when he would make a movie, was so tired of Hollywood that he just hired all black people, not just as actors, to do all of the, to do all of the jobs. And I find that fascinating, but it looks like the shipping container filled with frightened refugees finds that boring.
There's a white coach in the show, Lenny Clark.
Only 2 episodes, though.
Man, we can't even get any black coaches on Survivor's Remorse? That's wrong. It's racist.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Now you can test drive Snapshot to see how much you can save before switching to Progressive. Visit progressive.com/snapshot.
How about the writers on that show? Do we know how much of the, and he's just getting started with this stuff. The writers on that show, like it bears, because the writing on that show is good. Whether you like that show or not, the writing's good.
Michael Malley's a lead writer on that show. Michael Malley.
Do you have it?
Yeah, he was the host of Guts on Nickelodeon.
Yep.
Do you have it? Guts!
Rejoin. Yeah.
He's white, if that's what you were asking. Here's your SportsCenter update. Carmelo Anthony will replace Kevin Love in the NBA All-Star game.
He's really white.
Oh, he couldn't be whiter.
You remember the aggro, Craig?
Oh, the aggro.
I wanted a piece for my room so bad.
I wanted to compete. They need to reopen Guts so I can do that course.
Guts 2000. So
God, yeah, Global Guts.
Oh, man.
Dan Le Batard.
Do you have it? Guts!
Stugotz.
Do you have it? Guts!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Catch me and Mike Golick Jr. every Sunday for weekend observations from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Upside. Now save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You'll love Upside.com. That's Upside.com.
Have you seen what's making its way like a lit fuse through our media? And I don't like it so much, Stugotz, as I see it happen. Draymond Green, what Draymond Green had to say about James Dolan. Let's play that sound because I see it all over the televisions here. Draymond Green is a good content producer for us because he has no filter. He will say whatever he wants. He does not mind being the villain, being unpopular, doesn't seem to care at all. I really like him for that reason, but I don't like some of the things he said, and this one felt gratuitous. Let's hear it.
This is Charles Oakley. Why is he buying tickets to the game? If I'm not mistaken, Dolan's was owning that team when he was playing. It wasn't a problem when he was speaking out then. It wasn't a problem when he was protecting their superstars then. And so if it wasn't a problem then when he were doing it for y'all, why is it all of a sudden a problem now when he speak out on something that he don't like? And now you want to disown him from your entire organization. That's a slave mentality. You're doing it for me, it's all good. But now you're doing it against me, or not necessarily against me, but you're speaking out against my organization. It's not good anymore. That's a slave mentality, slave master mentality. That's ridiculous. It was all fine and dandy when he was laying people out, taking fines.
Out Jordan, right?
Taking fines and all this stuff for your organization. But now all of a sudden when he says something that he feels, it's a problem. I disagree with that. I definitely think, like I said, that that's a slave master mentality.
Just too strong. Just hyperbolic in a way. You can agree with everything that he said, and then he will lose you the moment that he throws slave and slave master in there, even as you agree with everything else that he said.
For starters, and there's obviously much deeper and bigger issues with what he said, but for starters, James Dolan did not own the Knicks. Like, if you're going to say that, James Dolan did not own the Knicks when Charles Oakley was playing.
I think you can't be reckless. You've got to be really careful, I feel like, when throwing that around as a public figure. And I think the body of what he said, what's amazing to me is that phrase is so strong that you lose people, even if they agree with everything you said before that. And then all of a sudden we get to feed on it in the media because everyone's talking about this today. And even as I'm inclined to almost always side with Draymond Green's viewpoints on things, because we'd all agree with his perspective, right? The perspective before he throws slave master out there, the slave master's like, come on, man. Like that, we didn't need that here.
Right. And it's the second time that he's gone down that path in the last week. He did it with KD's return to Oklahoma City and how the fans treated him. And he just did it again with James Dolan.
But one of the reasons I find this interesting is because I do believe that in discussing some of this stuff, the collateral damage has to be the discomfort of white people. Like, there is no way to discuss some of these things with white people being totally comfortable with it.
Correct.
But when you go so many exit ramps beyond normal discourse and arrive at slave master, even though, like, it is kind of the mentality of a slave master. It's fine if you're working for me. You can't work with somebody else. It's just so hyperbolic that you lose people. It's like, you just lose people at almost immediately. And then it becomes an argument about something else, because then we start talking. To me, this is like a mistake of Race Talk 101, because now the conversation becomes about something else, even though we agreed on the original premise of what Draymond is saying.
but you have a platform, and people are interested in you and interested in what you have to say. And I think that's the case for Draymond Green. He has a platform. That's his own podcast, I believe. And
I love that he has a platform. I love that platform. Isn't that platform LeBron James's, Mike? Isn't that the uninterrupted?
Yeah, I think it is. But, Dan, if you have that platform and you're a smart guy, and I believe Draymond to be smart, and you're interesting, and I think he's interesting, you want to make people think. You want to have a discussion. And what you do, as you pointed out, is when you go down that path, you lose a lot of people. You do. Yeah. You lose a lot of people. They stop thinking about it anymore. I don't know if
Draymond Green has to concern himself with that.
Well, maybe he doesn't.
But all I'm saying is this is where it becomes complicated, right? Because all of the opinions Draymond Green just expressed, all of them, I think most of us would agree until he gets to Slave Master. But all of those opinions that make for easy agreement, there's no way they're on all my televisions in here. Everything that he just said, the only reason it's on all my televisions in here is because he lobbed the grenade of slave master mentality in here. It's the only reason it gets our attention. That's what I'm talking about, where sometimes you have to make white people uncomfortable, even if it's with hyperbole.
But is it a productive discussion that we're having? Because we're discussing whether or not he went too far.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think that. I think that's where it all gets muddled, and then we just start arguing about Draymond Green. We argue about phrasing. We argue about, then it becomes, Draymond, you make millions of dollars.
Right.
That's not what slavery looks like. And it just becomes a different conversation that's not germane to the original one we were having.
It's not the discussion. I don't think it's not the discussion he was intending for us to have, right? Just because of word choice.
But I think you need sometimes people who are heavy-handed with this stuff. Because we're all in this transaction together. What I just said is not irrelevant. Draymond Green could make all the exact same points without Slave Master, and nobody would have heard them, or only people listening to his podcast. It certainly wouldn't have gotten the play that it's getting all over my televisions right now as the media feeds because they need something to consume on Thursday. And what else are we going to talk about?
Dan Le Batard.
Warren Moon with us on ESPN Radio. Tell us, as someone who cares about Washington, who knows some of the Sarkisian story, who has had some of his own fight with alcohol, what did you make when USC decided we're going to hire Sarkisian?
Stugotz.
Wait a minute. What fight did I have with alcohol? I've never had a problem with alcohol.
We have talked to you before about DUI.
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem, though. That was just one night you had a couple, and I wasn't even over the limit, but we don't even need to get into that.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show. Appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Carmelo Anthony will replace Kevin Love in the NBA All-Star Game. Love will be out 6 weeks with a knee injury. Draymond Green says that the Knicks owner, James Dolan, operates his team with a slave master mentality. And finally, NASA has announced the winner of its Space Poop Challenge. NASA crowdsourced a solution to the perils of pooping in space, and more than 5,000 proposed solutions were entered. The winning design features a tiny airlock in the suit's crotch, through which items such as catheters and inflatable bedpans can be passed through. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Texter writes in, is Stugotz shooting free throws today or what? Need to plan my day accordingly. Yes. After the show today, despite a toothache, despite coming in flip-flops, despite a sore elbow, Stugotz will go out to the Miami Heat's practice facility. The Miami Heat have tweeted out that this is a done deal. He will go out and shoot free throws, and he will try to go above league average because he's delusional and he's got Dunning-Kruger effect. I might have gotten another name wrong.
You owe some money. It's Cronin-Duger. And if I correct you, I think it goes straight to my pocket.
I don't think you got it right either, though. What if you correct me incorrectly?
Well, then you still owe the money. It just doesn't go in my pocket.
Well, what do you owe, though, if you correct me?
Nothing. It doesn't go to you, and you were wrong.
Because
Dunning-Kruger. It's Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger. 5. There has to be some shame and embarrassment if I correct you on anything, like English, grammar, any of that stuff. Okay, so I was wrong. So the money just goes there, not in my pocket.
All right, look up the definition of Dunning-Kruger so people understand what it is that we're talking about, because Stugotz, we believe, we have clinically diagnosed him with this. I want the formal medical definition of what this disorder is, because we believe Stugotz to have it, and we are going to shame him publicly by having him shoot 100 free throws today, and he thinks he can make above league average 78%.
All right, so I have to make 78 out of 100. If I lose, well, I really don't lose because it's shame. I'll be shamed, and I laugh at shame. And if I win, if I get 78 or more, we're changing the name of the show for a month?
Yes.
Okay.
The Stugotz Show.
All right.
Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias in which a low-ability individual suffers from illusory superiority, mistakenly assessing their ability as much higher than it actually is.
Yep, he's got it. We should rename it the Stugotz effect. Get those two guys out of here, Kruger and Dunning. Get them out of here. Replace them with Stugotz. But he will do this at 1 p.m. Eastern, Facebook Live. He is going out to the facility, maybe 1:30 Eastern. Give him some time to drive over there. Mm-hmm. He's going to run some sprints every 10 free throws, and that's going to happen. And I believe he's going to make under 50 of them.
All right, I'm going to go over 50, definitely. I'm confident in that.
Well, can we have actual stakes? Because I wanted to just
You
get
said
you
78. Stop lowering expectations. You were brazen.
Listen, it depends on, my tooth hurts. Listen, I'm a shooter, man, and everything needs to be right for a shooter. And if everything's right, I'll do 78. And if the slightest thing is off, and today it's my tooth, because the pain is just shooting right, it's down my neck and up my head, then I can't predict whether or not I'll get the 78, but I'll get 50. I get 50 with my eyes closed.
And also, we added the stipulation that we don't start counting until you finally make one.
That's right. That's stipulation because you wanted to catch a groove. So we're not counting until you're 1 for 1. You forced that out of us during the local hour.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to do. Can we do this? Because I've eliminated all the consequences except shame, which Stugotz says he laughs at. Because this isn't a bet that has any consequences for him other than shame, which Stugotz says he laughs at. Let's do this. There are no consequences other than shame if you get under 78. But let's come up right now with consequences if he goes under 50, which I believe he's going to.
Oh, no.
Because, no. You've done this. Eyes closed. Because some of this is to knock out some of your junk-talking yammering.
I need to focus on the main event today, okay? I don't need any other thing. A shooter doesn't need other thoughts in his head. A shooter just needs to focus on a couple of things. The front of the rim, the net. Mike, that's it.
Brainstorm back there for the next 5 minutes, please, amongst yourselves. Come up with a consequence that I will agree to on his behalf if he makes fewer than 50.
Can we do this as a separate event? I don't want the thought of 50 in my head. I'm going for 78 today.
You already said, Stugotz, you just said a second ago that you could do this with your eyes closed. You could do 50 with your eyes closed. If he goes under 50, come up with a consequence for him.
I mean, you're going for 78. 50 should be no problem.
Right? I mean, look at you. You are the worst,
I don't want to have consequences in my head. Like, I am feeling good about this because the only consequence I have is shame today, and that's it.
Okay.
I don't want to think about challenges
We're
or
trying
things I have to
simulate game conditions. You would call someone who misses free throws a choker if the pressure was ratcheted up to a play. So we're trying to simulate game conditions. Here is something that might make you choke.
You want to eat some tripe?
No.
That was pretty awful.
Nope.
Let's figure this out because I want to agree to terms. 1 o'clock, 1:30 Eastern, Facebook Live. We'll have, you can follow it on our Twitter account at Le Batard Show. Texter writes in here based on this Draymond Green conversation. And man, you are so bad at discussing race, Texter. And you are so bad at listening. And you are so bad at being self-aware. And you're so bad at mirrors. And you're so bad at smart. You're so bad at nuance. This guy writes in, slaves didn't get paid millions of dollars. Nothing that moron Draymond Green said is agreeable. According to you and Draymond Green's idiot logic, anytime a white and black person disagree, there are racist undertones. He's an idiot and you're an idiot for saying that anything he said isn't complete and utter race-baiting BS. Man, there's one idiot here, Texter. You will go to your bathroom and find him in your mirror. because you don't understand. I discussed that so delicately.
You did.
And I discussed that without even taking much of a stance. You want me to come down on Draymond Green? I didn't take much of a stance on this, but you don't realize what your biases are. I would like for you to never text the show again. I'm going to do George Lopez right now. Get out. Your choices are to laugh or get the bleep out. You either laugh or get out. Where's the angry mom behind me? I need the angry mom behind me so that I can be George Lopez.
Get out of here. Get out.
You get out of here, 443 texter. Yeah, take a walk. Your punishment is time out in the mirror staring at a real idiot.
Come on, here. Get him, George. Hey.
Go, George.
Hey, hold your kid.
Get some more, George.
George. Get down to the voice. Yeah. You have your wife's kidney. Hey.
You have your wife's kidney. That's a good heckle, kid.
That's why. George. Hey.
All right, so I have a couple of things that Stugotz can do.
What's that, Mike?
If he goes under 50.
Man.
All right, he can have a hissing cockroach crawl on his face.
Nope.
All right, wait, how many choices do you have?
I have four.
All right, you got to pick one of these.
I have to pick one of these four?
That, or we put it to a poll.
Oh, wow.
We're not putting anything to a poll, and the first one's not happening.
You better big one.
The first one. Well, you know what? This bet is about 78. It's not about 50.
I know, but you just said you could do it with your eyes closed. We will allow you to keep your eyes open.
I'll do a separate bet where I actually do it with my eyes closed at a later date.
You have to get 50 before 78.
No.
It's the same bet. All right, so
What if I do get 50? What if I do get 50? There's got
nothing.
What do you mean nothing?
You need to get 78.
You need to get 78.
What a dope, man.
Bad at math.
Okay.
He said yesterday he wanted the punishments to be scaled.
I know he did say that yesterday. You are unbelievable. You can't.
We agreed to terms already.
You know what he does? This is what he does.
Tooth.
You know the Aaron Rodgers play at the end of the Dallas game where it was just everyone run to the left side, somebody get open. Aaron Rodgers told us it wasn't an actual play call. It was just him doing that. He had never done that before. It's flooding a zone. Stugotz floods a zone with lies so that we can't keep track of them all, and some of them get open in coverage. Like, he just floods the zone with I've got a toothache, my elbow hurts. You said yesterday you were willing for degrees of shame, and I'm only doing it on one, below 50. You choose from among these, or the audience is going to choose. You choose from among these four.
Number one, hissing cockroach crawls all over your face.
Easy.
Number two, you replicate the Beyonce pregnancy photo.
You don't want that.
Keep going.
Number three, you dress up like CeeLo did at the Grammys. And number four, you do a week's worth of shows dressed as Paul Feinbaum. That means you have to shave a horseshoe in your head and wear the glasses.
I might do that, actually.
What? Are you
just gonna be
kidding
fun.
me?
Yeah, because then I just go bald at the end of the week. Like
A week with the horseshoe.
All right, you're choosing one right now. If you get under 50.
I will choose one of those four. Do I have to choose right now?
Yes.
I want to think this out a little bit.
Stugotz?
I want to do what's best for the show.
You are a staller, a procrastinator. You don't finish anything. We have had to. This is like, man, it's like trying to have sex with a damn rattlesnake. It's just impossible to pin him down right now.
Why do you know what that's like?
Why do I know what that's like?
That was the options.
Stugotz wants a new boat. Time for some more ads.
Ads. My father said ads there. You guys have never tried that? I feel like Anderson Cooper earlier this week where he's saying, what do you mean? You guys don't all feel like everyone's thinking you're shoplifting while you're shopping? Doesn't everyone feel that? Pick one.
I'm going to.
No, pick one now before the end of this segment.
Now, if I hit over 50, do you have to do it?
No.
Oh, I'm confused.
Ow. Pick one. Pick one, Stugotz. I want to get the time in right here.
All right.
Upside. Flights can be expensive. Multiple flights because you have to attend. I'm going to pick one for you if you don't do it in a minute. I'm going to pick one for you.
You're not picking the first one.
I am going to pick one for you if you don't do it by the end of this. I'm going to pick one for you.
Can I get like the fake hair on the side so I can just shave my head bald?
No, you shave a horseshoe.
Flights can be expensive. Multiple flights because you have to attend business meetings can be costly. That's why there's upside. It'll save you money on flights and hotels. Tell them more, Stugotz. You have 30 seconds, or I'm going to pick it for you. Go ahead. Read the rest of this Upside ad.
Elbow's starting to hurt a little bit. Discover the best new way for you to buy travel. It's called Upside.com. CeeLo was an option there?
CeeLo from the Grammys.
And what was the second option?
Beyonce's pregnancy
not
photo.
happening, so it's CeeLo or Feinbaum. I'll tell you by the end of this spot. Here's why you'll love it, but I have to walk around all week. Is Feinbaum?
Yes, that's pretty fun. That's the funniest one. That is the funniest one.
Every time you buy a trip at Upside, you save a ton of money, and they give you an Amazon gift card worth $1, $2, even $300 every single time. Upside bundles your flight and hotel together for one low price. Bundle pricing saves money, especially on business travel. If you are a frequent business traveler, your company saves a ton of money, and you can get thousands a year just for buying your air and hotel together at Upside. Plus, you'll get all your miles. It takes just 3 minutes to see how much you could save by buying your flights and hotel together for one low price. And check out what we've arranged for you. Use the name Dan, and you are guaranteed to get at least a $200 Amazon gift card on your very first trip. The name Dan gets you at least a $200 Amazon gift card for free. How can you not do it? No brainer, guys. Save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You'll love Upside.com. And if I shoot less than 50 today, if I connect on less than 50, you'll love seeing me dressed up as Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah, he picked the worst one.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hey, Low Post listeners, this week on the podcast, we have Howard Beck of Bleacher Report talking Serge Ibaka, Kevin Love, the MVP race, and his great feature on Thon the Curve.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Customers who switch to Progressive save an average of $500. Call and click today and find out if they can save you hundreds on your car insurance. Pablo Torre expected to join us here in just a minute on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Kushner family will no longer pursue a potential purchase of the Miami Marlins if current owner Jeffrey Loria is nominated to be the United States ambassador to France. Former NFL quarterback Vince Young has signed with an agent for an apparent career reboot. And finally, according to Hollywood Reporter, Mel Gibson is in talks to direct the sequel to Suicide Squad. SportsCenter is brought to you by J.C. Penney. Gentlemen, come in and stock up on select styles of Levi's, like men's Levi's 505 regular fit jeans for just $41.65, or save an extra 20% off on select items with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Did you ever hear a celebration of life through sports? Did you ever hear that show? It was very Sunday morning. ESPN was trying to bury it. They didn't want you to have positive sports radio.
It actually wasn't ESPN Radio that did that.
Okay.
ESPN Radio has like the Sporting Life with Jeremy Schaap to inspire you.
Okay. Whatever it was, radio was trying to bury it.
Like, what time was it on?
Like 4 or 5 in the morning.
So it was on, like, whenever I left Mansion.
Right.
Yeah, me too. Right. Sports radio is supposed to be cruel and mean. No positivity.
I asked what time because it got me thinking 7 to 9 a.m. with Mike Gola Jr. on Sunday morning.
No, it was earlier than that. You guys are doing 7 to 9. You guys are waking people up with a wacky breakfast brunch show. A texter writes in, Pablo talking about LeBron, good God, this show is awful. How do you have such a low understanding of what's interesting and what isn't?
I would say it's your greatest strength.
Well, I mean, the show is wildly popular. So I think you're wrong on not trusting my barometer on what's interesting.
That's what we talk about, what they invite in.
I mean, but okay.
Yeah.
LeBron the Sequel is ESPN, the magazine's article written by Pablo Torre. LeBron James' first act, becoming one of the greatest basketball players in history, is all but settled as a success. His second act, to become a global entertainment icon, is just beginning. Pablo with us now. Pablo, is he going to succeed? Because people don't believe that he's going to succeed in entertainment. Is he going to?
Dan, people so much dumber than me have talked about LeBron James and made your viewers and your listeners very happy. And one of the things they misread, all of these many people who've criticized LeBron throughout the years, for reasons far more unreasonable even than you guys, the way that you approach it, is that, yes, they don't think he's going to succeed, and he's going to. We have totally misread, like, the Maverick Carter thing. And that's where the story starts, is, are we impressed with LeBron James? Are we impressed with Maverick Carter? What about all of those columns from 2005 that said, how can this guy hire his buddy? How can this guy trust his future to this kid who's uneducated and a college dropout? And if we go back and do the autopsy on that, it turns out that not only were they proven wrong, but those critics were proven wrong by a degree of magnitude that is truly kind of staggering.
What was the joke, though? I love the joke. People dismissed Maverick Carter with the joke, or an AOL columnist did, by saying what?
Well, he said that the next time LeBron has knee surgery, he would have his plumber do the job. That was the equivalent experience level that Maverick Carter brought. Although in 2005, I will point out that throughout the country, startups were being founded by college dropouts who partnered with their friends. Like, this idea is not entirely insane. Now, there is a legacy of people in sports hiring their friends and their family to fail. I talk about that in the story with Magic Johnson, who proposes never doing that. But LeBron James is an exception, and it's time to sort of reckon with the degree of difficulty of the task that was in front of him and how he's attacked that problem.
Pablo, why are you so sure he's going to succeed?
Because, Stugotz, we live in an attention economy, right? So even if you're super cynical about LeBron James, even if you think he's never going to do the things that he and his team want to do, they're never going to make the next Wire, they're never going to make the next Atlanta, they're never going to make the next Moonlight, right? You take away all the highbrow stuff. You just think to yourself, we live in a country where attention is the most precious resource. We are now Roman emperors when it comes to media, right? We can watch any show we want, anytime, to the exclusion of a million different options. What that has resulted in terms of the culture we have is the biggest stars who can command audiences, who can command attentions, they're the ones who get the most power. And that's both superficial and substantive. It's both kind of sad and cynical and true. And that's how the presidential election unfolded. That's how our big stars in Hollywood today unfold. The internet has given rise to a class of people who have power in excess of any forebears, bigger than Michael Jordan, for instance, because of this structure and this economy built around them.
What is the most ambitious thing they want to do?
Well, they want to really have an empire in entertainment. And the reason why that's ambitious and maybe doesn't sound so much when I first say that is because lots of guys have failed at that, right? Shaq has 28 IMDb credits. You go down the list from O.J. Simpson to Howie Long, but what LeBron James is doing is that he is becoming an owner. He sought equity in Hollywood, in a business that is primed for failure, as I'm sure you guys know. Hollywood eats its own. It eats its biggest stars. LeBron James is saying, forget that. Michael Jordan wanted to erect a basketball court outside when he made Space Jam, and that was his use of power at Warner Brothers. No, I want Warner Brothers to partner with me on a TV, radio, and digital deal, which was unprecedented according to the CEO of Warner Brothers. And he wants Warner Brothers and Turner Sports to invest $16 million into Uninterrupted, which is his athlete-focused selling platform, which provides, by the way, an interesting connotation to the whole Charles Barkley and LeBron on TNT feud. LeBron James is going on a different avenue to talk to the CEOs and the people in power here. He's trying to become an owner like them, which we just have not seen in entertainment.
What is the coolest thing that you think you discovered in your reporting of this piece?
Well, I've discovered that there is a secret hotel in Las Vegas where the super VIP people stay. That's not a substantive answer. That's just true.
That's what. That's where the article begins. Hold on a minute. Let me read from that for a second. Because you were in Mav Carter's hotel suite. Let me read here. The mansion's VIP-only villas, decorated in the style of a Florentine mansion, are hidden behind a warren of secure hallways linked to the MGM Grand's high roller tables. Welcome to an iron-fisted coach's posse-driven fever dream. This, says Carter, barefoot and raspy voice, swaddled in gray sweats and a black hoodie that reads Uninterrupted, is like the All-Star Game, sort of. The all-stars Carter is referring to are the likes of Google, Amazon, Verizon, Facebook, Twitter, the luminaries of the planet's biggest tech convention center, the Consumer Electronics Show. In that room that you were in, Draymond Green was there. Chris Bosh was napping there for some reason. Tell me more about this secret mansion room.
Yeah, you walk into the MGM Grand off a side hallway where the high rollers are. There are a bunch of secret hallways, and they don't advertise this. It's, in fact, deliberately obscured, and it reminds me of the reality that LeBron is living a lifestyle that is so in excess of standard celebrity, of standard athlete celebrity. NBA players go to Vegas, they go to clubs, of course, that's all well and good. LeBron and Maverick are holed up in the place where, like, you know, they put Calvin Harris when he has his DJ residence, where Jennifer Lopez is, right, the VIP of VIP suites. And when you walk in and Draymond is there and Chris Bosh is there, and this is, of course, before Draymond and LeBron have their shoving match in Golden State. This is actually before that. You walk in and you realize, okay, well, this is something that would be truly horrifying to Pat Riley, to Phil Jackson, to anybody who wants that militaristic dividing line between rivals. But then it turns out that, like, what they're actually trying to do in that room is so much bigger and more threatening to the existing power structure than, say, trying to calculate, oh, where are these guys going to play? How do we all feel about our bosses in the league? They're trying to set up independent streams of income and are succeeding wildly at that in terms of setting up equity and ownership and getting corporate partnerships directly with CEOs. That's what's going on in the room where the posse is. And that is so much bigger and so much more impressive than the standard stereotype of, wow, Maverick Carter and Draymond and Chris Bosh who's asleep on a couch because he's exhausted from a day of meetings. That's the impression. That's not the impression that would give you based on how we perceive and consume sports.
Pablo, in terms of his second career, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you seem to think Maverick is going to be more important and instrumental in why this is going to succeed than even LeBron James. Is that fair?
Well, LeBron just doesn't have time to do the business. I mean, this is the other crazy part about all of this. We can talk about Michael Jordan, any other gold standard, Magic Johnson, of athletes who succeeded in business, but LeBron James is doing this while he's an active athlete right now, while he's atop the sport, while he's a defending champion. That is just unprecedented. They want to compare him to The Rock, but The Rock's not doing all the things that LeBron James can do. And LeBron James, by definition, likes to delegate. I talked to a guy, Gotham Chopra, who worked with Kobe Bryant, directed his documentary, and he said one of the big differences between LeBron James and a guy like Kobe, and he's also worked with Tom Brady and Michael Strahan, the big difference is LeBron James will delegate to you. He will empower you. He's not going to micromanage you, and that's no small comparison. He is saying that the way LeBron plays on the court is similar and true to how he acts in life. And so Maverick Carter is the guy he delegates to. He's the guy who he trusts. And everybody who said, how can a guy like Maverick Carter succeed in this business when he's a college dropout? Maverick Carter's network, the guys he's connecting with, it's Bill Gates, it's Steve Ballmer, it's Warren Buffett, it's Carlos Slim. Those are the four of the richest human beings on earth. His financial advisor, Paul Wachter, is the guy who's connected to everybody. Like, what he did was not the Magic Johnson model. He didn't go and hire, LeBron did. LeBron didn't hire just like a financial advisor and that was it. He empowered Maverick Carter, and then Maverick Carter hired the guy that everybody wanted LeBron to hire. Like, he's playing the game as well and better than people thought that he would not.
The name of the article, LeBron the Sequel, LeBron James' first act, becoming one of the greatest basketball players in history, is all but settled as a success. His second act, to become a global entertainment icon, is just beginning. That's ESPN, the magazine. Last question, because we don't have very much time. The most interesting thing LeBron James said to you was blank.
He wants to be a superhero, very sincerely. And he works with Warner Brothers, which owns the DC universe. So remember, when LeBron James is starring as fill-in-the-blank DC comic superhero here, and you guys can deliberate amongst yourselves what that would be. Remember where you heard that.
Okay, so The Rock. He wants to do even bigger than The Rock as a movie.
The Rock, but with a political conscience. He wants to be The Rock times Muhammad Ali, which is crazy and huge, but LeBron is the guy who is making a documentary about Ali. He talks about Ali all the time right now. LeBron's going to become more vocal and more visible in ways that are going to make a lot more people uncomfortable going forward, I think.
Gracias, Pablo. We appreciate it, sir.
De nada.
Dan Le Batard.
That interview was fascinating, by the way. I don't care what anyone says it. I love sports more than anyone out there.
Stugotz.
I feel like I love sports more than anyone.
Sports more than anyone out
there. No, I feel like I do.
It's a ridiculous thing to say.
You're probably right.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show at Stugotz790. Dan, it's time for Straight Talk. It's presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks. Half the cost.
Some of the listeners need some straight talk right now.
Oh, no.
Real talk. Got to keep it hundred. Texture writes in, Pablo botched the last segment. Real journalism is boring. Please get back to talking about the booger that Stugotz was playing with the other day. And we have a lot of that. The hashtag Stugotz Army is very strong, and many of you are objecting when we do serious stuff, and that was fascinating, and it was good. But this is what I love about some of you who object. You don't realize how we trick you into getting addicted. Because we lure you in with the booger that Stugotz is playing in, and then you're forced to sit there and listen to us when we do the stuff that actually matters, but you're too dumb to realize it. And so and I'm telling you now, and you won't stop. Right. Because you're addicted. You will continue to be this kind of dumb. That was great, and I don't care what you guys think. You will keep listening because you are now addicted to the booger on Stugotz's finger.
So that's how we hook them in?
That's right.
A booger that I roll into a ball and flick across the studio?
It's a circus tent. You're in the circus tent. The rodeo clowns are running around, the sparklers, the shiny silver objects that distract you, and then you've got to pay attention when we do that. You pretend to turn off your radio, you pretend to go, but you'll always keep coming back because you're not smart enough not to.
And you know the next booger is right around the corner.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
So, but I do wonder, what in popular entertainment, what smart things work? Because there have been reports out there that Pablo and Bomani are going to do a show together, and if they do a show together, it would be the smartest show in sports television. But very often, you guys are threatened by intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Do not underestimate how much a dumb person will be threatened by a smart person who's not doing anything other than being smart. And so, give me the smart things that work. Arrested Development ends up failing. I think Modern Family is very smart. It's very well written, but it's not smart in the overt ways that I thought Arrested Development was.
Does Neil deGrasse Tyson, he has a show. Does that work? I feel like he kind of works,
But it works because he's very good at making the smart digestible to people who are not as smart as he is, and most people aren't as smart as he is, and many people are put off by how condescending he can be with his smart. Like, that's one of the things that becomes apparent when people are threatened by intelligence. You guys think Pablo is being smart to show off how smart he is. He's not actually condescending. He's not. We all love Pablo here. All of us here love Pablo. He does not threaten us with his intelligence, even though he's smarter than all of us.
He's just smart.
That's right.
He's not trying to show you.
Right,
He's just smart.
But it gets interpreted as condescension because of how many people don't realize that they're threatened by someone's intelligence. Pablo's not condescending. Pablo may be a gas bag, but he is not somebody who is flaunting his intelligence in a way that's ego-soaked and arrogant. Pablo's not arrogant. He's not. We know him better than the audience does. Pablo is not arrogant.
I joke around about Pablo all the time, but they're jokes. He is not arrogant. He is not condescending. I promise you. He is none of those things.
Yeah, I agree. This is how we started the interview.
People so much dumber than me.
I noticed that too. It's the ego's going to his head. All of this success is going to his head.
People so much dumber than me.
Does he realize how he sounded there? Because a lot of people don't like Pablo. When's Pablo going to be in here for half a week when Stugotz goes on vacation? Is that at the beginning of March?
Right.
It is March 8th, 9th, and 10th. Pablo will be on.
Wouldn't you guys love... See, here's the thing, though. We had Bomani. Bomani was on with us every week here on the radio, doing the stuff that Pablo does and that our guest co-hosts do. And you guys rejected him at the start, and you came around on him. Put this on the poll, Guillermo. Do you want to see a Pablo and Bomani television show? Because I do. That would be a good television show. I'd get smarter watching that television show.
Yeah, I want to see it as well. I'm interested. But I am interested to see if two guys, because we know both of them so well, they're so intelligent and so smart. And I'm wondering if they need some stupidity to balance that out, you know?
Yeah, that's something.
Some boogers.
That's something for them to consider.
Yeah.
Pablo tweeted this at 6:13 p.m. last night. Sometimes I think we're very far removed from the days of worshiping Anubis, the ancient Egyptian dog god, and sometimes I do not.
All right, so you find... Now, wait a minute. Do you find Pablo arrogant and condescending?
I mean, that time I replied with the Jesus Pablo.
Yes or no, you find Pablo arrogant... Put that on the poll as well, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Do you find Pablo arrogant and condescending?
I take back everything I just said based on that tweet.
Yeah, that was a bad tweet. What is he doing?
Honestly, it's on brand at this point.
He needs an editor.
It's clickbait.
Dan Le Batard.
I know what you like, and I give it to you to make you a junkie so that you're listening and you can't help yourself on the stuff that I got to force feed you. But I know what you like, and I'll give it to you sparingly just to get you addicted.
Stugotz.
You'll stay right there addicted, and every once in a while, I'll give you smack that you don't like, but that you need. It's medicine you need. It's the whole formula. We know what you like. It's why you're addicted, even though you hate that part of the show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Kushner family will no longer pursue a potential purchase of the Miami Marlins if current owner Jeffrey Luria is nominated to be the United States ambassador to France. It should be Luria. I made him the Eagles owner. Former NFL quarterback Vince Young has signed with an agent for an apparent career reboot that has the Jets written all over it. A woman has given birth to a goat.
One woman.
A woman has given birth to a goat after a 2-year pregnancy, Nigerian media has claimed. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
What?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know what Vince Young is thinking at this point. It's ridiculous. Like, he keeps trying these comebacks, and then inevitably he's going to do something and get himself in trouble, and then no one else in the league is going to want him. And I'm not even certain at this point in Vince Young's life if he could still sling it. I'm really not. I'm not certain if he hasn't been through so much physically and mentally that he could still play quarterback at any level. I'm not even certain I'd take him back at Texas, college, anything like that. It's strange, and this does have the New York Jets written all over it. It does. The Jets are going to fall for Vince Young because the Jets fall for these kind of things. I'm telling you right now, I'm reporting it. Schefter, you don't need to dig any deeper. Vince Young has signed with the New York Jets. Done deal. It's over. Schefter, stay away from my story. Mort, stay away. Stay away. But Vince Young, man, like the audacity to think that he can come back and play quarterback in the NFL. I'm not even certain how old Vince Young is. How old is Vince Young? Is Vince Young 30 years old? Vince Young might be 30 years old. But there have been so many issues in Vince Young's life and his career, whether it's the strip club incident, some drinking issues. I'm not suggesting he's an alcoholic. I am not doing that. I am not James Dolan, okay? I'm just saying he's been through a lot. And I'm not certain Vince Young can play quarterback at any level anymore, in any league, anywhere. Hey, he's 33 years old. Are you kidding me? 33 years old, and he's doing a reboot? Vince Young? Hey, get out of here. And the Jets are going to fall for it? It's amazing. It's absolutely, because the Jets are so desperate for a quarterback, they keep drafting them. They don't have one. They had Hackenberg, he's no good. They had Petty, he's no good. They had Geno Smith, and he's no good. They thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be good. And I told them before the season, what you saw out of Fitzpatrick last year, that was the ceiling. It will never get better than that. And the Jets didn't listen to me, and why would they? But they didn't listen to me, and they re-signed Fitzpatrick, and look what happened to them this year. And Greeny, I forget it, Greeny clamoring for Ryan Fitzpatrick when I told him. I said, Greedy, last year, that's as good as Ryan Fitzpatrick ever was and is ever going to be. He'll never be better than that. And Greedy said, nope. He could be that good again because he has all those weapons. Decker and Brandon Marshall and Matt Forte, who's 40 years old. Get out of here. Greedy fell for that with Fitzpatrick. And now the Jets are going to fall for it with Vince Young. It's unbelievable. Vince Young, 33 years old. Go ahead. Give me the long list of quarterbacks who have sat around doing nothing for 4 years and decided at the age of 33 to come back and play quarterback in the NFL. Go ahead. Give me the long list. I dare you. I'm waiting. Anyone, give me a name. I dare someone to give me a name.
Randall Cunningham.
What about Randall Cunningham? He didn't sit around for 5 years, did he? And Vince Young has been doing nothing but sitting around for 5 years. Did Randall Cunningham sit around for 5 years? I don't think he did.
And he was older than Vince Young.
Yeah, but he didn't sit around for 5 years. He was active, jogging.
He was putting down tile.
He was laying tile?
In Las Vegas.
But that's, at least it's something. At least he got out of a chair and he moved and he did something. I'm telling you, Vince Young hasn't moved in 5 years.
It was 2 years for Randall Cunningham.
2 years. 2 years, you could do it. 5 years, you can't.
I was asking about the woman giving birth to a goat.
Oh. Yeah, 2-year pregnancy. According to Nigerian media.
I mean,
I don't know.
That sounds like fake news.
It could be.
There's photos. There's video.
I mean, come on, man.
But real news is Vince Young going to the Jets.
With a baby goat on the floor.
Yeah,
come on,
Vince
man.
Young, man.
So nice. There's photos.
Oh, boy.
Guys.
There's photos.
Explain the 2-year pregnancy.
Yeah. Photoshop, man.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Is Vince Young going to be a Jet? You don't need to put it on a poll. I already told you it's going to happen. What's the other poll question? Something else?
Can a woman give birth to a goat?
Oh.
Yeah, put in parentheses. There's photos.
Like, what? How does that end up in our... That's not real. Like, how does that end up in our sports flash? That's fake news.
You're dismissing the Nigerian media.
Unbelievable.
It's fake news. There's not a woman who gave birth to a goat. Like, what do you guys fault? Never mind. Let's move on to other things.
Hey, he signed with Lee Steinberg. Jeez. I feel like Lee Steinberg's also been sitting around for 5 years. There's a match made in heaven. Two guys who haven't done anything in 5 years. Somehow going to do a reboot. Vince Young, reboot. Why a reboot? I mean, the original wasn't very good. Make a sequel? Vince Young 2?
Billy's looking at the photos right now. Can you confirm that it is a baby goat?
That's definitely a baby goat.
Very graphic.
Or goat-like creature.
These are definitely photos.
That's our confirmation. These are definitely photos. That's the journalistic investigative work you're doing.
Minor in journalism.
So Stugotz is going to do this free throw challenge after the show. It's going to be on Facebook Live. There are consequences now. There are stakes. Every 10 free throws, Stugotz is going to have to jog up and down the court to simulate game conditions when James Harden is playing defense.
I told you earlier, I'd rather simulate Dwayne Wade's game.
Right, Dwayne Wade getting back on defense. You can do that, too, if you want. Just argue with the ref under the wrong basket and don't play defense. Lollygag back. Regardless, he's going to shoot 100 free throws. If he makes league average, we're giving him the first one so that he can find his groove. He's been negotiating during breaks. Now he wants it to be 3, Mike. Soon it's going to be give me 77. He wants it to be the first 3 shots he makes is when we start counting, which, I mean, I don't even understand what he's doing.
Well, I mean, the thing keeps changing, so I'm negotiating on the fly. That's what I do because you have changed the game. Now there are consequences if I don't hit 50 free throws. I have to dress up, shave my head, and dress up like Paul Feinbaum for an entire week, which I volunteered to do. I was given 4 choices.
You picked that. Unbelievable that you picked that.
Right, but in exchange for that, I'm thinking maybe give me 3 free throws to start off the event.
But then what we'd be doing is just making the number 47. Do you want to make it 47, Mike? Put that on the poll. At Le Batard Show. Should the number, the audience will decide, okay? Should the audience will decide.
Well, that's not going to work out well for me, but that's fine. Go ahead.
47. Put the number at 47 free throws before there are Paul Feinbaum consequences for Stugotz.
I get 1, though, right? You're giving me the 1. I get to start 1 for 1.
Yes, I'm giving you the 1, Stugotz.
How about a lifeline?
Stugotz, you said you can make 5th, what? Like you could call Shane Battier to come in and shoot free throws for you?
Yeah, Ray Allen.
You're the worst, man.
No, but they only shoot like 5. That's it.
No.
Oh.
What you did is you said, I can make 50 with my eyes closed. So I say, no, go ahead, open your eyes. But here are the stakes to not making 50. And now you just keep negotiating that down.
Yeah.
And if you don't make 50, and I believe I'm going to be right here, if you make 78, it's going to be the Stugotz Show for a month. Not only this, how about this, Stugotz? Not only will I give you the month where it's named the Stugotz Show, you could do whatever the hell you want on the show. Like, it'll be the Stugotz Show. You'll lead the show. We'll talk all about your topics. We'll do the show however it is that you want to do it.
Nah, because it would be the show I just did on Vince Young, and we don't want that. I mean, it's terrible.
We'll follow you wherever you want to go. You're not. I mean, it's irrelevant because you're not making 78 free throws.
If I get in the 70s, though, it's going to feel like a win for me, right?
Stugotz,
if I get like 73, I lose, but it will feel like a win.
I don't think that you're going to get to 50.
Oh, I'm getting to 50.
I think we're going to enjoy the holy hell out of a Feinbaum week where you are dressed like Feinbaum with your head shaved. You're going to have to leave here every day and go and live your life for a week.
I can't believe I agreed to this.
I can't believe you agreed to that. With the Paul Feinbaum haircut. You also have to, by the way, you're also ignoring that you got to wear the suit. Like, all week, the glasses, like, you've got to come in a suit. I can't believe. Listen to what his choices were. How bad is Stugotz's judgment? Stugotz's choices were recreate the Beyonce pregnancy photo. That seems easy. You just put out your belly, and that seems so easy.
I just take off my shirt, essentially.
Dress like CeeLo at the Grammys, which is just paint yourself gold. Have a hissing cockroach crawl on your face. There's video of Ron McGill doing that with a bunch of cockroaches.
You wouldn't do that.
I do all three of those before. Well, maybe not the pregnancy photo. I would do the 5. Yeah, I would. All three of them. I'm telling you, I can't think of a worse punishment in the history of this show than this Feinbaum punishment. What's the worst punishment in the history of this show?
Mike eating tripe.
I'd eat tripe first. Stugotz, live my life for a week with that cul-de-sac haircut of Paul Feinbaum? Where I'm out here looking like Dana Holgerson? Dana Holgerson, whose hair looks better? Put this on the poll, Guillermo. Dana Holgerson's or Paul Feinbaum's?
Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
I'm Andy Katz, along with my co-host Seth Greenberg on the latest edition of Courtside with Katz and Coach G. We're going to break down the top 16 with NCAA Tournament Selection Committee Chair Mark Hollis, and also be joined by South Carolina head coach Frank Martin.
James White, Super Bowl champion. We found him. He's going to join us here in just a second on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Detroit Red Wings, Gustav Nyquist, has been suspended 6 games for a high sticking. Roy, this is on you, not me. For high sticking, the Minnesota Wild's Jared Spurgeon, Nyquist, will forfeit $158,000. Kentucky head basketball coach John Calipari is expected to be named head coach of the United States men's under-19 World Championship team. And finally, according to Collider, Movie Talk, Ben Affleck wants out of the Batman role badly. Collider Movie Talk specifies that they have been told that Affleck is talking with Warner Brothers in an attempt to get out of being Batman, and that if they do not let him out of being Batman, the standalone Batman film that ultimately happens will be the last time we see Affleck as Batman. Let's hope that happens. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you like Affleck as Batman? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no? James White with us now, champion, inactive all but 3 games last year. James, do you like Affleck as Batman? Yes or no?
I don't mind him.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Batman, though? Who's your favorite?
It's tough.
You don't know any others?
Okay, you're not a big Batman guy. Do you have a favorite? Do you like those movies with superheroes in them? Do you like them or not?
Yeah, I like superhero movies.
And what would be which one do you like the best?
It's tough. I really can't choose one. I mean, they're each separate one is good as its own entity.
James, I'm not going to let you get out of this. I don't care that you're a champion. You Patriots don't say anything. Like, you guys have been all trained to not say anything. I am going to force you to have an opinion on this, whether you have one or not. James, even if this ends your relationship with the media, you will select a superhero, and then we will move on. So give me one, even if you don't mean it. You damn Patriots don't say anything. You will come on this show, and you will say something. Say it now. Pick one.
I don't know. The Spider-Man movies are pretty good.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Fine.
Perfect.
James, it's not that hard. I know that Belichick's got you all brainwashed. It's not that hard. We're going to move on to the next difficult question.
I mean, man, you just won Belichick a Super Bowl.
No, he can't say anything, and he knows. He knows that he can't say anything because all of those yes or no, the Patriots are a brainwashed cult. Yes or no?
No, we aren't.
Is he right there with a gun to your head? Is Belichick right there? You are, all of you. Who's the most interesting Patriot? Oh, it's Bennett, isn't it? And even
Martellus Bennett by far, brother.
Yeah.
Him and Gronk.
Yeah. Do you have a good Gronk story for us? Do you party with Gronk at all?
No, I do not.
No, you do not, or no, you do not party with him? You don't have a story, or you don't party with him?
I don't really have a story, and I don't party with him.
Man, he is all Patriot way. You help us out here. How has your life changed since the Super Bowl?
I mean, honestly, it hasn't really changed much. I mean, some people recognize my name a little bit more than before, but it really hasn't changed much for me. At least I'm back home in Florida now, so I mean. In Boston, people recognize me a little bit more, but other than that, not much has changed.
Oh, wait a minute! Outside of Boston, you could probably walk most places without anyone having any idea who you are, right?
Boston and here, I think.
Exactly. I enjoy that.
I imagine you're probably anonymous even in Miami, right? Even though you're from here, you're probably. How often do you get recognized in Miami?
Not often at all. I like it that way, though.
So you don't like? Are you uncomfortable with this Conan? And you were with Kelly Ripa. Are you uncomfortable with that? Or are you enjoying? Wasn't
Conan?
it? Yeah. Oh, for the love of God! Yeah, that's another.
Are you uncomfortable with any of that, James?
No, I enjoy that, but I like being able to walk through daily life without people recognizing it. That's nice.
You made a late night talk show host a barbarian.
Right, because the beginning of this interview wasn't going well, and so I'm a little bit rattled.
Okay. Deflecting.
My fault, not James's. My fault. I come out of the box. He wasn't expecting. He was game planning for a traditional football interview, and I come out of the box asking him difficult superhero questions.
No, that's fair. Our fault, not your fault. Our fault.
Okay, let's move on. You were on with Conan the Barbarian and Kelly Ripa. What was that like? Because you don't like that stuff. So what was that like?
It's not that I don't like that stuff. I just those are great experiences, once in a lifetime experiences. I said I just like walking through life, like being able to like go to the mall and stuff without people recognizing me. That was a nice luxury to have.
I've got a suggestion for you. Stop scoring touchdowns in the Super Bowl. There you go. I have solved your problem.
That win the Super Bowl.
Yes, don't win the Super Bowl. Don't score touchdowns. Don't catch, 475 passes in the Super Bowl? I have that
74.
number. It was 474 passes. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Did you know going into that game, James, that you were going to be that kind of player by game plan? Did you feel and know they were going to be throwing to you that much?
I knew I would have opportunities, but obviously I wasn't expecting to catch 14 passes, but that's just the way the game went. We were trailing most of the game, so we had to pass a lot. And I just wanted to be as open every time they called a pass play, and I had a route. I wanted to be open. So if Tom looked my way, he can get it to me easily.
James, are you an honest person? Do you consider yourself an honest person?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can I ask you a question that requires total honesty?
What is the question?
Are you secretly happy LeGarrette Blount fumbled in that football game?
No. That's one of my best friends on the team. I never want to see any of my teammates have any mishaps. I mean, he's a great player, did a lot of great things for us, and we wouldn't have been in that spot without him.
If he doesn't fumble, are you playing that much in that game?
I mean, honestly, you never know. I mean, we all play throughout the season. It all depends on the flow of the game and what the play calls going and what's going well. So I mean, we couldn't really run the ball that well, so we just had to throw it a whole bunch.
Can we agree that for you personally, it was a blessing in disguise? You weren't rooting for it, you weren't happy, but it was a blessing in disguise.
We can agree on that. James. We can agree on that. Blink if we can agree on that. You don't have to say anything. Just blink your eyes if we can agree on that.
I never wish that upon anybody.
I didn't say. We didn't say you wished it upon anybody.
Right.
We said it was a good thing for you. It ultimately ended up being a pretty good thing for you.
I would have played no matter what happened.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if you have the truck if that doesn't happen.
James, I know Belichick is there watching over you right now in a hostage situation. Just if you agree with us, let the wind blow into your phone. Just let us hear the wind blowing into your phone. He can't hear us.
Oh, I just got an opportunity, and I just wanted to make the most of it. That's all. That's all it was.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Put it on the scroll. Put it on the scroll. James, what percentage of drinks have you had to pay for since the Super Bowl in Boston?
I mean, I only went out one time, so none.
0%. Well, congratulations on your success, because it really was a hell of a story. Miami kid inactive all but 3 games, and let the wind blow into your phone if you should have been Super Bowl MVP.
Tom Brady.
Nope.
Tom Brady was well deserving of it.
Let the wind talk, James.
Well deserving. He broke a record for the most passing yards.
All right.
Let the wind blow into your phone if you hate us.
You go.
Stugotz wants a new boat. Time for some more ads.
The wind was great.
What a great interview with the wind. Totally honest. I'm not used to that refrending. It's a breath of fresh air.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami-only hour that airs before the show, and now you can subscribe to our Best of Podcast. It's all available in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Stugotz is going to try and shoot 100 free throws after the show at the Miami Heat's facility. You could watch on Facebook Live. We will have some links on Twitter at Le Batard Show. If he makes 78 above league average, league average is 77%. If he makes 78 out of 100, then he will get the run of this show for a month, where the show is named after him. If he doesn't get to 50, and I don't think he's going to get to 50, he has to be Paul Feinbaum for a week. He has to come in dressed up and shave his hair like Paul Feinbaum, wear a suit like Paul Feinbaum, wear the glasses like Paul Feinbaum if he doesn't make 50.
And take your calls.
That's right. There will be calls taken. Thank you, all of you helpful people out there who buried us during the James White interview, because you're spoiled and entitled, and we think that the interview was going spectacularly before you sent off the text to bury us because James White was not terribly revealing. I owe an apology to James White. I had a fact wrong during that. He was inactive all but 3 games of their last Super Bowl season. Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep up with their inactives. It's hard to keep up with their Super Bowl seasons. That's my mistake. He was active for the games this season.
You want me to bring him back so you can apologize?
Let's bring him back again tomorrow. Let's keep bringing him back every day the way we did with Kenny G and the way we're doing later with James Johnson.
As long as he brings the win with him, I think we should have him back on tomorrow.
The wind gave us more Patriots information than he did.
Wait, so listeners thought that we thought that was going swimmingly?
Oh, you know how it works here. You know how it works here.
But why do they think we did what we did?
First of all, the interview ended up being entertaining. Not because he was really... Man, not everyone's a fireworks show. It ended up being entertaining because ultimately our allegiance and our obligation is to you, the audience, and not to the guest. So we just did the rodeo clown thing of running all around him. He wasn't going to give us anything, and we probably should have let the interview go 5 minutes earlier. We hate the traditional sports radio interview. We think it's mindless and often droning, and often the responsibility of the athlete to do jazz hands for us. But if he's not going to give us anything, we're going to try to save it. What I'm objecting to from the audience is, man, give us a minute. Give us 1 minute of patience for this entertainment vehicle that you pay so much for. So I understand why your standards are so high, because it costs you so much money, and it's such a burden to you and your weekly paycheck to get this entertainment that you expect to be flawless every time, sometimes the interviews aren't going to be good. Sometimes we're going to flail around. Give us a second to try and save it before you bury us. I don't need your help on knowing when something's not going well.
We feel it, man.
I mean, it was he wouldn't answer the superhero questions, and he danced around them. And we knew right then, about 7 syllables in, oh, this is going to be a struggle.
But you have to send that text.
Yeah, you gotta go and waste the telecommunications, waste the satellite, waste everyone's time by sending us in that we're drowning.
He couldn't choose. He didn't want to hurt like Green Lantern's feelings.
Right.
I guess.
I understand. The Patriots are not allowed to have an opinion. They get fined for it. But we're sitting around drowning. This is the relationship we have with our listeners. We're drowning. We know we're drowning. We're gasping for breath, and this is what they do. Hey, you guys are drowning. How about an anchor? While you're drowning, you want something heavier? You look tired.
Ooh, try swimming better.
Yeah.
You look tired.
Yeah. Can you guys swim better for me?
You're probably going to drown to death.
You're up there eating a sandwich. You're eating a hoagie. You look like Jack Nicholson in that boat with those women, shirtless with a hoagie. Go ahead and Google Jack Nicholson and hoagie, shirtless.
You'll thank us.
Yeah, go ahead and image search that. That's you. In fact, I'll wait for you. Listeners, right now, on your phones, your devices, go ahead and Google Jack Nicholson. In fact, Lorenzo, find that, please. Do we have to pay for that stuff when we put it on television? ESPN2. Find the photo and put it up on ESPN2 of Jack Nicholson shirtless. I'll wait for it. Hoagie. That's you, dear listener. As we drown and flail for our lives, that's you.
I have seen this picture no fewer than 300 times.
Yeah, it's funny.
Will never cease
it's
to
a
be
funny photo.
I'll make it easier for you. Siri, show me pictures of Jack Nicholson eating a hoagie.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
You got mad at me about first time on the radio.
Do it. Here are some images of Jack Nicholson eating a hoagie I found on the web.
Thanks, Siri. Thank you, Siri.
I need to hire her. So are you going to put that up to the camera so that people can see it on ESPN2? Or are you going to
Would I just break the... Is this the loophole? It was really just to have Siri say Jack Nicholson eating a hoagie.
Okay, that's good producing. Okay, but anyways, my larger point is, so here we are. We're in the ocean with a running back on our back saying nothing. A champion running back. Me and Stugotz. We're dog paddling and we're drowning and we're sinking. We don't have snorkels. We don't have anything. I'm gurgling up water. You can hear me sweating. I'm actually drowning in my own sweat. And you float by in your vessel eating a hoagie, surrounded by young women, shirtless, with your belly hanging over the side of the boat. And what do? You comment on our drowning. You don't help.
Nope.
You don't offer, hey, try and interview the wind or do something funny around this. It's not any constructive criticism.
It's just, hey, you're drowning.
That's right.
Yep.
And by doing that, what you're actually doing is throwing something heavy into the water with us. Here, you guys want to carry Gronk? Here, you throw Gronk into the water with us.
There's a picture of him. I don't know if you've seen this one.
I'm looking at the one Mike just zoomed in on. Those are some man boobs, man.
Yeah. But there's another one. If you stay on that image search, Mike, you'll see his head just bobbing out of the water. He's got a cigarette.
Yeah, him getting out of the boat is like funnier.
But those are the listeners. That's them. You swim by us with a cigarette while we're drowning. That is you guys.
You know, there are multiple photos of him eating a hoagie, both inside a boat and like at a Lakers game.
He likes his hoagies. You can tell by his man boobs that he's a hoagie lover. Hasn't made a movie in 10 years. He's just been eating hoagies for 10 years. That is a great photo. Lorenzo, I'm sitting around waiting for you to put the photo up of Jack Nicholson with only his head above the water smoking a cigarette, which seems not healthy. But that's the listener.
Yep. Mike, the struggle for him to get back in the boat is just amazing. Have you seen that? Because everyone can relate to that when you're a bit overweight, right? And you're in the ocean trying to get back into a boat. It is really, really difficult. And no one is struggling more with it than Jack Nicholson.
Siri, show me a photo of Jack Nicholson smoking in the water.
Here are some images of Jack Nicholson smoking in the water I found on the web.
God bless you.
Good job, Siri.
Look at those boobs, man. Jack Nicholson's cleavage. Those, I mean, outside of the hair and the wrinkles, those are wonderful and voluptuous boobs. And let me add a bonus to this equation. Jack Nicholson eating that hoagie. You look at his nipples right now, Stugotz, and you tell me he's not aroused.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. James Johnson of the Miami Heat should be the sixth man of the year. He's going to join us in just a second on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Red Wings' Gustav Nyquist has been suspended 6 games for high-sticking the Minnesota Wild's Jared Spurgeon. Nyquist will forfeit $158,333.34. Kentucky head basketball coach John Calipari is expected to be named head coach of the United States men's under-19 World Championship team. And finally, a vinyl record pressing company is offering a service that allows you to have a loved one's ashes pressed into a custom vinyl record. You get to pick the audio and album art, and the company takes care of the rest. Kind of cool. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Cool. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Oh, no.
Turning a loved one's ashes into a vinyl record that you then play. James Johnson with us now. Great idea. Great idea or terrible idea, James? Great idea or terrible idea?
Terrible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's absolutely right. It's an awful idea.
But every time you play the record, you remember the person.
I know, but it's just, and they're dead. And they're dead, and they're on. Oh, it's also morbid on top of everything else. A terrible idea that's also morbid. James Johnson was on with us yesterday. We told you he's a great fighter. He was 7-0 in mixed martial arts matches, 20-0 in all of his kickboxing matches. Do you have a favorite fighter, UFC or boxer that you like, James?
I definitely do. Mayweather, of course, got to go with the champ when it comes to boxing. You know, he's very technical. He knows how to hit without being hit, and that's longevity in that sport. And Jim Jones Bones, man.
Yeah, Bones Jones in MMA. He's a bad man. I found him to be pretty disappointing because he's just ended up wrecking his career. So much promise there, wrecking his career with all the abuse, the substance abuse.
Definitely agree with you there.
James, it's your fighter. Like, if McGregor and Mayweather actually fought, Dan says if it's a boxing match, and he's not alone on this, that Mayweather would win it and win it rather easily. Do you agree with that?
Definitely agree. I don't think he would knock him out, but I think he would definitely beat him.
Can you give us the last time, James, that you were tried outside, like in a bar or something? When's the last time James Johnson was in a fight that wasn't a sanctioned professional fight?
It was right my freshman year of college. Young immature JJ went out. That was the last time I've been tried.
Well, how'd that go? Give us some details. What happened?
I got disturbing the peace, pretty much.
Oh, you got arrested. Okay, you disturbed.
No, I didn't get arrested. No, disturbing the peace.
Okay, why? What? Do you not want to talk about this? It sounds like you sound like it's fine if you don't want to talk about it. We don't want to.
Nah. It's not a big deal. It's definitely we can talk about it. It's not a big deal. It was just disturbing the peace. That's pretty much what it was.
Okay, did he disturb your? Did this person?
Yeah.
All right, this person disturbed your peace. Did you then disturb their face?
It was just more talk. It was more talk how it always is.
All right, just like most NBA fights.
Definitely.
All right.
That's all the NBA fights.
So James Johnson is with us on ESPN Radio. Let's play this sound. We talked to George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre is now coming back to mixed martial arts. It's been reported that he's coming back. We asked George St. Pierre how long it would take him to kill Stugotz. We're going to ask James Johnson the same question. Here's George St. Pierre's answer.
George, how quickly could you kill me if you wanted to?
I don't know. Depend of you. Do you have a weapon on your? So maybe you can kill me faster. You know?
No. I have no weapon, and you just
nobody is faster than a bullet, my friend.
Okay, but take the gun and the weapon out of it. I have no weapon. You just decide you don't like me and you want to kill me.
No, he's got a pool cue. Let's give him a pool cue. How quickly can you kill him?
Yeah, do you have any sharp object near you?
No, just a billiard cue. All he's got is one.
I'm sure you have a pen.
No pens. No pens.
A pen. Okay. We've got a pool stick and we've got a pen. How quickly could you kill him?
I believe it could take me less than 30 seconds.
Thank you, George. Okay, so James Johnson, we give you the job of you have to kill Stugotz. How much information do you need on Stugotz before you answer this question?
How much you weigh?
Like 170, 175.
I got about 15 seconds.
Okay, and what would be your disposal method? What would you go with? Would you beat him to death by turning his face into ground beef, or would you choke him out? How are you doing this?
Yeah, I would just do the choke out. You know, I'm stronger. I can squeeze. Mm-hmm. More of the python react. You know, go for the choke out.
Okay, wow. And you think that, but 15 seconds? I don't think you could do it that fast, James. I question that. In fact, let's do it. Let's try it. I want to invite you to the studio.
Well, hold on. Let me remind James that I have a pen.
Right. Oh, how dare you underestimate? He's got a pen, James.
Yeah. The pen?
Yeah, I have a pen.
The pen's going to make me mad, I think.
Oh,
so 10 seconds.
Oh, my God. All right, so here we go.
All right, so I'm ditching the pen, and I guess...
When are we going to make this happen?
Yes, we'll have an event. I don't believe James Johnson could kill Stugotz in 15 seconds. I defy him to do it. Now, we've got some insurance issues. We've got some liability issues. If I'm wrong on here, the consequences are really disastrous.
If this does happen, though, I want you to make my ashes into some sort of record, some vinyl. Okay.
Yes. Stugotz is headed to the arena, by the way, at 1:30 to try a free throw challenge. Are you back in town? Like you can do it right? We can do this. We can set this up literally in an hour.
I'm definitely in Miami.
Okay. All right. We're gonna see if we can. He's at the facility.
What an odd radio promotion this is.
Tune into Facebook Live.
All right, Facebook Live. This just happened to a Dominican journalist was killed on Facebook Live. Tune into Facebook Live in 1 hour to see if James Johnson can kill Stugotz in 15 seconds. If he's...
Now, if I'm still breathing, there needs to be consequences, James. If I'm still breathing after 15 seconds, then something bad has to happen to you.
No,
you have to dress as Paul Feinbaum.
I'm gonna let you go before it gets to that point. But you would know that it would have been over in 15 seconds.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to take me to the brink of death and then let me go?
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, this seems like an excellent promotion here. I like everything about this.
I'll bring your pen.
All right. How about a pool cue? I think I have a pool cue.
If James Johnson is right, we all win, except for Stugotz. If James Johnson is wrong, there have to be consequences for James Johnson. You get to roundhouse kick James Johnson.
What am I going to do with that roundhouse kick?
You will get the roundhouse kick.
Yeah, but I'll hurt myself more than I'll hurt you.
Probably. All right, now, I'm always saying, James, that we perpetually underestimate how good you guys are, how athletic you are, how sculpted your skills are. You told us yesterday that you could roundhouse kick a ball or several balls out of the basketball net, out of the rim as well. Stugotz is going to do this free throw challenge. He thinks he can make above league average from the free throw line. He thinks he can shoot 78 out of 100 free throws. What do you imagine? He's 44 years old. When was the last time you picked up a basketball?
Oh, it's probably like a month and a half ago.
Okay, so how many do you think he's going to make? What information do you need to make an assessment?
Out of how many?
100. He's going to make 78. He thinks he's going to make... I don't think he's going to make 50.
What info do you need, James? I already gave you the weight. I'm 175. I'm 5'8". And
yeah,
I will tell you...
I'm giving you 80. I'm giving you 80. It's all about confidence.
Oh,
he sounds confident. 78 is a confident number.
Wow.
He's 5'6".
Well, 5'6". Does that matter? 5'7", 5'6", somewhere in that range.
I see what just happened here. James Johnson is giving you confidence before he kills you. This is what happened. Before he kills you in 15 seconds.
Yep.
Your nickname.
That was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
Your nickname is said to be Bloodsport. Does anyone actually call you that? That doesn't sound like something that people actually call you.
That was more of like I'm walking down the street and then I just hear, "Hey, Bloodsport." It's like that. No locker room calls me that or nothing like that. It's just hilarious.
All right, just one guy down the street called you Bloodsport one time.
No, I mean that's what I get because one person started this rumor that I get the Bloodsport. So when I walk down the street, or if I'm walking down the street or something, I just hear it randomly. Bloodsport. That's how they call me.
Yeah, I get that sometimes as well.
All right, this matchup is.
I'm not mad.
We're gonna
bloodier sport.
All right, bloodier sport. All right, James. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, definitely.
All right, see you, James.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.
The NBA All-Star Game this Sunday.
Here's Curry behind the back, half-court heave on its way, and he hits it!
Coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.